Sup bitches, Multiplier here, and today I'm going to talk to you a bit about Native Instruments FM8 and how you can use it to make Moombahton, Dutch house, maybe electro house too style leads and synth sounds. Cool, so basically I've been working on a sample pack, so I've kind of got a whole bunch of finished, or like the ideas are finished, but I haven't done the final tweaking. Sounds that are all kind of Moombahton-y Dutch house style thing. So I'm going to play a few out, just kind of give you an idea about the sort of shit I'm talking about and what you can end up making. And then I'm going to kind of break it down and show you the basic kind of routing, the basic structure. Because if you've ever played about with FM synthesis, you will know that by tweaking a detail, just even the smallest amount, can completely fuck everything up and change the sound radically. So it's pointless me showing you kind of precise settings. It's only going to be of any value to you if I show you kind of the basic approach and the basic kind of theory behind making the sounds. Of course, I'll show you the sounds first, and then I'll kind of break it down and show you kind of how they're constructed, just so you know kind of how they're built up. So let's play a few sounds just to give you an idea of the range of shit you can come up with, and then I'll kind of show you how they work. Cool, thumbs up for that. So that gives you an idea of the range of sounds. They're all broadly speaking constructed in the same way, although obviously the details are kind of different every time. So let's break one down, show you how it's made. So let's just pick one. Cool. It should be a good one to kind of illustrate it. I just want to make sure I picked one that kind of had enough kind of going on to show you what's what. So first of all, we got a simple MIDI clip. What I did is I did the MIDI clip first, and then I kind of made the sound afterwards. I did it a bit flip-flopped because I've made a lot of Moombahton sort of noises before. I know roughly what sort of patterns might work, so I bashed out something that looks like this, and then I quantized it, and I thought, right, that's enough to get going with. And then what I did is I stuck a delay on, simple delay, just to kind of, because basically I wanted some basic effect on there, knowing that I will tweak it later. I haven't tweaked it yet, but sometimes it's nice to have the final effect on as you're making it, just to kind of give you an idea of what it will sound like at the end. Similarly, I got a compressor on, a sidechained to some kicks, just to kind of give it that pumping effect as I'm making it, just so I can kind of have a feel for how the final sound will sound with the right sort of bounce. But yeah, again, like this effect, as I'm dialing in the automation and the details of the sound, I was tweaking the settings to kind of give it the exact amount of bounce and the right kind of pumping effect that I wanted, because you basically sidechain compress everything to the kicks, whether or not it's subtle or obvious depends on what you want to do. So yeah, simple enough, MIDI clip, nice simple delay, and a sidechain compressor. And now let's dig into the preset in FM8 and see what I did. So first of all, I'm not going to explain what all the buttons do and what all the words mean. Have a look at my tutorial, FM8, the basics, if you don't know what shit does. This is more kind of an application video. So, right, got 2 voices, some detune, some panning, just to give it some width. It's like synthesis 101. With the operators, I chose this pretty randomly. I chose, say, like one of the ratios 2, one of them 1, just to kind of spread out the octaves a bit, because it's good to kind of cover at least 2 octaves, depending on how thick you want it. If you don't cover more than 1 octave, it can sound a little thin. And yeah, getting your ratios and multiples of each other is a good idea or a good way to kind of spread shit out over octaves. A bit of detune, key sync on, just because I like having my sound come out the same every time it's bashed. Chose these waves pretty randomly, although after you make fucking as many presets as I have here, you really get a feel for what waves have what sort of sound. Cool. Did I do anything in modulation? No. I made sure the pitch bend up and down was a whole octave, just because it kind of makes the automation later easier if you know how much it's been pitched up and down. I haven't done anything in this one, but what I sometimes did in some of the presets was I assigned like an LFO1 or LFO2 to the pitch, and that allows you to make cool kind of pitch bendy stuff and kind of like wobbly shit. So if you want it to do cool wobbly stuff, that's how you do it. You modulate the pitch with the LFO. In this case, I haven't. With the envelopes, again, nice and simple. Haven't done anything here, but maybe I'll show another one in a sec where I have. But yeah, what you would do if you want to keep, or if you want to say, kind of change the envelope of the sound as a whole, what you do is you click one of them and then you kind of link it up. So you just click something like F, and then you click all the other ones and you link it up, and then it all goes in dark. And then as you change this, it will change the other ones. Now, I'm just going to turn it all off because I'm not actually, don't want to change my sound, but that would be how you do it. And super important in Moombahton style sounds is having something going on with the pitch. Now, you either want it normally going up. Up normally sounds cooler, but down can sound cool too. And then kind of the 2 things you change is kind of how long it takes for it to go up with this, by like how long the up bit is, if that makes sense. And then kind of change the envelope as well to determine how much it like affects it by. So just play around with the kind of length of it and the envelope, and that determines how much it gets fucked with. But that's really, really important to give it that kind of whoopiness, and you just basically want to be doing something with the pitch. That's super important. Now you can fuck with the pitch using automation, using the pitch bend up and down, but sometimes if you've got, say, in this case, lots of notes, it would be a nightmare if I had to draw in that shape at the start of every single note. So it can be easier just to do it within the FM8 preset. And yeah, as far as like all these settings, I just do it randomly. Like I just keep trying different waves, trying different routings, pulling it up and down till it sounds cool. You get a bit of a feel for kind of what things might start to sound cool after a while, but it is pretty much just play with it till it sounds cool, no matter how good you are. Yeah, like there's not much magic behind it. It's just play with it till it sounds cool. And did I do anything else? No. Sometimes I route shit through filters, but I haven't really been doing much of that, to be honest. Stuck a bit of reverb in the effects just to give it a bit of space and just give it a basic effect so that as I'm playing with the sound, it's a little wetter, which is nicer. I will dial in the reverb later. Chances are what I'll probably do is turn the reverb off here and put reverb in later on, but it's nice to chuck it on there for now, for the time being. That's the preset. Got the cool sound out here. Now if we turn on the envelopes and then go to MIDI control, I haven't actually done anything with the pitch bend here, because basically you see where I fucked with the pitch. That gave me all the whoopiness I want, and I just haven't done anything. So let's show you one where I have fucked with the pitch bend. This one definitely has. So I'll just have a quick look into this preset, see what's going on. So yeah, you can see in this envelope, I've decided to fuck with one of the operators and leave the other ones just to kind of give the attack a different sound to kind of the rest of the note. But yeah, see, there's nothing going on with the pitch here, just because I'll basically be doing all the fucking with the pitch in the pitch bend automation in this particular case. So turn on envelopes, go to MIDI control, and then pitch bend. You can see I've drawn on this cool shape. So basically drawn on, because we've set it up to be pitch bend up and down an octave, which just sounds quite nice. That's kind of modulated up an octave. I'm just kind of drawing the shape, and then as I play it out, you'll see how this pitch bend automation does correspond to the pitch. So just basically find a cool shape. This is kind of like the last step, is drawing in the shape. So you have everything like your compressor set up, your basic effects, your basic sound, and that makes it easier to decide what kind of sequence of automation sounds cool. And that's basically what I did for all of them. So maybe I'll show you one that's got a little bit more to it. Cool. So in this particular one, if we go to modulation, you see I've modulated the LFO to the pitch. I've turned on like a sync, and then that basically means that this rate is instead of being like unconnected to the tempo, it's connected to the tempo. So like as you move the rate around, it'll be like quarter note, eighth note, 12th note, 16th note, and so on. So it just kind of syncs up the tempo, which is nice. Key sync on, again, like always, if you don't know what it does, turn it on. It just means that kind of every time you trigger the note, it starts at the same point. Key scale can fuck with things a bit. Sometimes you need to turn it up and down. If you don't know what key scale does, look it up. It's a little complicated, but that can kind of affect your rate. So be aware of that. So yeah, there's not much to it, to be honest. Basically how the sounds are made, and then you just, depending on the sound, tweak it a bit. I detuned one of the oscillators just to thicken it up. Again, that's Synthesis 101, detune shit. Makes it sound thicker and more interesting. I will add more effects to these later on, but that's the basic way they're made. 12 minutes. Hopefully you've learned a bit. If not, your loss, I guess. But yeah, hit me up a message in the comments or message me on Facebook if you want me to kind of explain anything more in a bit more detail. That's kind of basics of how you make Moombahton or Dutch house style sounds. Most of it is in just the pitch. That's the kind of the main thing you need to be kind of doing a lot of, because there's no real, although like people tend to think it's mostly high pitched sounds. If you listen to a lot of Moombahton, like not all of it's even high pitched, and there's no real kind of super cliched sound, but it is just mostly just modulating the pitch and coming up with a cool pattern, and kind of making sure your sidechain compression is kind of balanced in with your drums to kind of give it a bit of bounce, a bit of danciness. So cool. That's it for you. Nice and simple. Sounds aren't that complicated, at least structurally. And yeah, I've been Multiplier. I've got links to everything below, like my label and my own personal tracks on Beatport and SoundCloud. Check it all out. Follow me on Facebook for latest updates and free shit. Yeah, follow me everywhere. Why not? Cool. Hopefully I haven't rambled too much. Dumpling's a little bit differently to normal. Let me know what you think. Yeah, hit me up with suggestions for tutorials. The one thing I'm not very good at is recreating sounds, unfortunately. Just because I'm not very good at it, to be honest. So unfortunately, I can't kind of recreate a sound that you like. If there's a sound you particularly like, maybe just try sampling it. But yeah, just let me know if you have any ideas. Cool. I've been Multiplier. Have fun making sounds and shit.